Hello, I am Madeline from Saskatoon Public Library, and I'm here today on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis. In my previous poetry video, I explained a little bit about land acknowledgements and why we do them, why they're important, and I just wanted to mention again that someone bestowed really beautiful wisdom to me, about when we acknowledge the land, we acknowledge our history, and we also bring in the wisdom of the land into the space that we're in. So into what I'm speaking and how you're listening to what I'm saying, and I feel like that's really beautiful. And I wanted to share it again. So April is Poetry Month, and I am showcasing some wonderful Indigenous female poets today. The first is Katherena Vermette, and I'm reading from River Woman. She's a Governor General Award-winning Métis poet residing in Manitoba. And then I'm also going to read some poems from Calling Down the Sky by Rosanna Deerchild. And she is also an award-winning author and broadcaster. She is a Cree woman from Manitoba as well, so some prairie girls. And I'm very excited to share these stories. I think Indigenous stories are very important, and I wanted to mention before I begin that some of the poems are raw, can be a little bit difficult. Rosanna Deerchild's poetry book is recounting her mother's residential school experience, and I just wanted to mention that before I begin. In River Woman, the river that she's talking about is the Red River. And I think it is also worth mentioning that the South Saskatchewan River, the river that flows through Saskatoon, ends up going into Lake Winnipeg. And the Red River also goes into Lake Winnipeg. Isn't that just a wonderful metaphor? How connected everything is in this world, how connected we all are. I think oftentimes we want to believe we're so different from one another, but I think we could learn a little bit from our water pathways here, that the glacier waters that come from the mountains of Alberta flow through into South Saskatchewan River, that flow through to Lake Winnipeg. Rivers from the United States flow into the Red River that go into Lake Winnipeg. It's beautiful. And further on, right? Regardless of where you're from, where you reside, we can find some common ground and we can connect. Also want to mention, this is my beautiful fern, asparagus fern, and I've named him Oscar, so I thought I would showcase this awesome plant that is kind of wrapped around me in this video. It's just so cool. Anyway, the first poem I'm going to read from River Woman is called River Woman. This river is a woman. She is bright and she is beautiful. She once carried every nation here, but she is one of those women too soon forgotten, broken like a body that begs without words, only rough hands that reach out, palms up. This river is a woman. She's been dredged and dragged, metal coils catch her tangled hair. Everyone wants to know her secrets, but she keeps them, won't let them go, unless she trusts you, unless you ask real nice, unless she feels like it. This river is a woman. She's full of good intentions, bad regrets. Sometimes she just folds into herself, can slow to a slush, then rush into race, currents indiscernible, patterns intangible, and below she goes even faster. This river is a woman, forever returning, twisting north, a snake carved into prairie grass, hiding everywhere, eroded with age, etched into her edges and newly born every day. This river is your lover. She curls around you, pulses and fills you like a heartbeat. If you are very quiet, all you hear is her. This river is your mother. She flows on, and unnoticed slips in, slides out, as if she was never here, as if she were always here. This river is my sister. She is bright and beautiful and brown, sings soft every summer, holds us up all winter, and every spring she swells, reminds us we are just visitors here. This is her country. She is that woman. Her deft voice reaches out, broken by everything that has been thrown into her. But somehow, her spirit rages on. Somehow, a song like her never fades. So perhaps you'll go to the river and show the river some love and some reverence. The river does so much for us. I'm going to read another river poem called River Story. I search for stories of the river, scratch at the surface, dig deep, pull at bits of limestone and other forgotten things, but I can't find them, those things that we were never supposed to lose. I wait to hear the stories of the river, sit at the edge, scoop up the silence, my fingers tangle in the long dark hair. There is always long dark hair, that is where our spirits linger, left behind to wander the waves. I need to hear the stories of the river, about when she was young and her brown water was clean, loved. If we could hear the river speak, what would the river say? What would the river's story be? Now there is a question. Yeah. I'm going to read a part of another poem called Métis Sage, and it's a 5-part poem, and I'm just going to read part 2. Ontario goes on and on, a day and a half by train, evergreens and uninterrupted blur with only brief breaks for power lines, broken down houses, sky. It's easy to see how big they thought it must be. Green seems to be never ending. It's easy to see how they thought they wouldn't ever have to stop taking. Now that poem asks some really powerful questions without asking the questions directly, to reflect on the very different worldviews of settlers and Indigenous people. I'm going to shift gears here and read some poems from Calling Down the Sky by Rosanna Deerchild. The first one is called Windows. Kids stare out windows. Wait any minute, mama. Papa will come, take me out of this place. Scan bushes, look sharp, down long winding road, a question mark that ends at residential school. The ultimate solution to the Indian problem. In church, saints look down on us, sleepy eyes, languid lips, crimson mouths mock. Angels whisper lie about miracles. Stars shine through dorm windows, cast shadows across bodies. Darker shadows rise, fall across our torsos. They pray in the dark. We pray silently. Stare out window. Wait for it to be over. And this poem is called Guy Hill, The Returning of Souls. It seems smaller somehow. Mama says, looks over the grounds, rests hands on cane, peers over glasses. Over there in that grove, that's where the Blessed Virgin Mary sat. There was a fence over there, lip points left. Boys and girls were separated, in those days. Going with someone meant you waved at each other, sometimes snuck smokes and Cree words through fence. Mama moves her eyes slow, sifts through each memory, fitting it where it used to be. On land reclaimed by earth, sky, water, and survivors who come to find lost souls. Over there is where the babies are buried. Mama whispers at trees, which whisper back, shh. But she is done being silent. The ones who didn't make it, those ones devoured by starvation, those sick ones who never got better, those who were taken into rooms and never came out. I've seen them, those angels and demons still out there, forever lost boys and girls trying to find home, never got there. I was also told by a beautifully wise person that we can't reconcile without truth, and the heart of reconciliation is truthful stories, sharing our stories, listening with our whole being, our whole hearts, listening to understand, listening without defensiveness. And I think this book is extremely powerful in sharing this story. I'm going to end with a poem from Katherena Vermette, and it's called How to Argue. And the first few lines, she's talking about a lover or a partner, but you could think of this poem for any person that you talk to and that you're disagreeing with, or you're arguing, or having a hard conversation. She says, remember your love's best self. Remember your best self. Only let the two of them talk. Could you imagine the types of conversations we would have if we showed up like that and we looked for the best version of that other person that we're speaking with? It would change a lot of things, I think. She gives some awesome antidotes in this poem, and I think it's important when we're talking about truth and reconciliation. I think this is a good one to end on, to remind us that we can connect and talk about hard, difficult topics and find common ground and support one another and be there for one another. So this is How to Argue. Remember your love's best self. Remember your best self. Only let the two of them talk. Think of love and all the dreams you share. Don't walk away. Take a break if you need to. Choose your words carefully. Do not punish. Do not blame. Never use the word never or always. Think of what you want, not only how you feel. Don't run away. Learn to breathe. Learn to trust. Your love is true, even when you are angry. Your love is full, even when you are empty. Don't say things you don't mean. Don't let insecurity convince you of something that is not true. Arguing is still talking. Resolution is possible. Believe in yourself. Believe in your love. Hold on. Don't go away. So again, this was Katherena Vermette, River Woman, and Rosanna Deerchild, Calling Down the Sky. Both are in the library collection. I want to thank you so much for listening. I hope that you're taking great care of yourself and your family and your community and enjoying the beautiful spring weather. Okay, until next time.